Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'll be diving into showing you how to create a daily NFT holder template query or like a base query which you can use to do all sorts of analysis. Now I think what is a common query is people showing the latest holder of a specific collection, right? But I don't see any analysis or queries on the number of holders on a daily basis. So how exactly do you do that? So before that, a couple of reasons why you might want to do this is because it can be used as a base query for showing the number of daily holders, right? Is the number of holders maintaining, or are people sort of like selling off and not, I guess the community is shrinking. You can also measure, uh, are there new holders, right? Are there new wallets who are buying the NFT? Are there new wallets who, or are there wallets who are accumulating NFT, right? So, for example, Pudgy Penguins released their token announcement, and so you can track across all of the Pudgy Penguin collections whether people are, you know, whether existing users are accumulating, whether new users are buying, right? And all that is possible with this base query. So before we start, let's first grab um, the NFT address. So there's multiple ways to do this. I usually go to OpenSea and search for the collection. So in this case, I'll be looking at Pudgy Penguin. So just click on any penguin, and the NFT address should be shown up here. All right, and then we'll be using the NFT table. So um, NFT transfers, where NFT address is this. Oops. Okay. Um, so first I'm going to show you like how do you get latest holders. Now, uh, latest holders is something that I often see people do, and this is exactly how you do it. So what you need, let's say what I'm interested in is the token ID, right? And then of course who is the latest owner. So it will be the NFT2 address. And I'm going to qualify. So qualify row number over. And oh, I forgot something. All this is of course only possible on 721 because 721 is each token ID in a 721 collection is unique. And so you can replicate this query for all EVM for 721 collections. And also if you know if other blockchains have similar token standards like 721, then this query works as well, provided you have an NFT transfer stable. Now 1155 can work, but you will need to treat it as an ERC20, and so there will be maybe I'll create a separate video for that. But in this case, I'll just be looking at 721s. Okay, so partition by token ID, order by block timestamp, descending, event index descending. Equals 1. So why, I guess I can run this while I was telling. So why partition by token ID? Because we want to get the latest transfer per token ID, right? What am I missing here? Comma? Right, and then why order by timestamp descending is because we want to get the latest transfer. But because it is possible for a token ID to be transferred multiple times in a single block, which also means in a single block timestamp, which is why we need to have an event index descending, which would mean that the latest event in a block. So in a given block, give me the last transfer for this token ID. And we can of course verify our query. So let's just go to Etherscan, look for pudgy penguins, and then I'm gonna click on a random penguin. And this is 7559, so let's change that to 7559. So the latest holder should be 0x033, and yeah, so it is indeed 0x0337, which is what we see here. So which means our query is correct. You can of course double check more, but I'm gonna leave it as that. So this is the most common query I think you'll see, which is just showing the latest balance. The latest owner, right? And then I see people do analysis like based on this query. For example, how many or which addresses own how many token IDs, right? How many NFTs in this collection. But we're gonna take it one step, or we're gonna elevate this query. So we're gonna look at the daily holders instead. So what does daily holder mean? It means on any given day, we can pinpoint who is the owner at the end of the day for a particular token ID. So let's say Monday, Alice owns token ID 1, right? And then Tuesday, she doesn't transfer it out of her wallet, so she still owns token ID 1. And then maybe Wednesday, she sold the NFT or transferred it to another address, and so now the owner of token ID 1 maybe is Bob, right? And we want to be able to do this tracking for all of the days starting from when the token is minted all the way to current day, and also for all of the possible token IDs. So not just token ID 1, but however many penguins are there, right? So that's our goal, and the way we would do that is, and I find it's easiest to explain using like a spreadsheet. So imagine you have like a spreadsheet, and then in the what's this called, like a column. Each column is a token ID, right? So you can imagine this can be token ID 1, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on, right? Until uh, I believe it's 8,888 penguins. And then in the first column or every row would be the date, right? So maybe this is like um, I don't know, July, 1st of July, right? And 2nd of July, 3rd of July, right? All the way till the current date. And again, the reason for this is because we want to be able to know with exact certainty for any given token ID on any given day who is the current owner. Okay, and that's our goal. So the first step to doing this is a NFT transfer table for all transfers. So I like to call raw tables as raw. And how I'm going to filter all transfers is first try to see where or when this NFT is created. So just have to go to Etherscan, click on this transaction, this thing over here would be the when the NFT is created. So July 22nd, 2021. So I'm going to add a filter that says July 22nd, 2021. And I'm going to need the block timestamp. Going to need the event index. What else? I think that's it, right? Token 2 address, token ID. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. And then to recreate this, I need, of course, two things. One is all possible token IDs and all possible dates. So there's two ways here. One is, of course, you can just filter for when the from address is a null address, so like the actual minting transaction. or we can just do a distinct, right? The first method is faster, but this is easier to write, so I'm just gonna write like this. So distinct token ID gives me all possible token IDs, and yeah, let's call this as like token ID. Now we have the first component, which is this all token IDs here. The next component are the dates, and for dates, there is this table called in the cross-chain DB called dim dates, and in this wonderful table, it lists down a lot of dates. So let's try to see an example from this table. Okay, so we have lots of dates, and the column that we are interested in is the date day column. A bunch of stuff here if you want to use, but I'm interested in this particular day, this particular column. So I'm gonna use date day, and then I'm gonna add a filter. Maybe let's call this as like all dates, and then where date day cast as date between this date, which is when the NFT is minted, all the way. Oops, what is that? All the way to the current date, right? You can also cast this as date. I forgot if this is like, you know, date or the full timestamp. So let's just cast as date to be safe. Okay, so now all dates would then give us this date. I'm just gonna call this as day. Okay, cool. So now if we run this CTE, we would just get one column of all the days between when it's minted up until current day. And again, we're doing this because we want to be able to recreate this spreadsheet where on the, I don't know what it's called, like first column has all the possible dates, and then on this first row has all the possible token IDs. And we've got two of those ingredients already. And now here is the magic. We will use cross join, right? So for every possible date, there is a possible token ID, and for every token ID, there's every date. So that's what cross join is doing. And let's see, from all dates, and then I'm gonna do a cross join all token ID, and now I would have day and token ID. So just to ensure the query results looks right. Yeah, so like this, right? You have a list of days and you have a list of token IDs. And of course, for each token ID, there'll be one day, and for each day, there'll be all token IDs. All right, cool. So what now, right? Now, here comes the part to fill in these answers here, right? Like for example, on day one, who owns token ID 1? And then on day 1, who owns token ID 2, right? And so on and so forth. So the way we would do that is we would do another city. We call this is like a daily transfers, or like end of day owners, right? Essentially, it's like end of day owners, and this would be our transfers table. So select, what did I say? From raw, and then I want the latest owner for the token ID for the day. So I would need to cast this as day and then do that same qualify that we saw in the beginning of the video, right? Where I am partitioning by token ID, and not just token ID, I'm partitioning by day because I want to get the latest owner for each day as well, not just for each token ID. Okay, then same thing, order by block timestamp and also by event index because there can be multiple transfers of the same token ID in the same block. So this ensures that we are getting the the daily owner or the latest owner for the day for the token ID if there are any transfers. Maybe call this as like EOD owners, right? End of day owners. Okay, I think this looks good. Now this now fills in some of these, right? For example, if there's a transfer, Alice, right, Bob, so forth, right? But if on the second day, Alice does not transfer token ID 1, there will be no transfers of this, right? And so now we're trying to get map out all of the basically get this empty spreadsheet left joined with all the places where there are transfers, right? Let's say this and this has transfers, but this day has no transfers. And then we can apply the like a lag function to say like, okay, if there's no transfers, give me the owner for the previous day, right? So that we'll be able to fill in all of the gaps. So let's see how that looks like. So what I would need is, let me call this as like daily transfers and then current on a full full transfers. I don't know. Full list daily. Let's call this as daily owners then. Select from full list. So my list has all day and not all token ID. And I'm left joining my daily transfers using day and token ID. Day, token ID. Okay. And what else do I need? I need the end of day owners. Yeah, I think that's it I need. So this would tell me all of the days where there's a transfer of an NFT and who is the owner, right? So this would tell me the owner. And now here comes the part where we sort of fill in the gaps. And the way we do that is using a lag function. So if the end of day owner is null, I mean, let's reduce this. If the owner is null, that means there's no transfer on the day. So then take the previous day's owner. So lag this ignore nulls over partition by token ID, order by day ascending. Okay, so what this is doing is, again, if there's no transfers, so this means if there are any transfers for that token ID for that day, right? If there is a transfer, this would not be null. Instead, there's an owner. But if this is null, that means there are no transfers for the day. And so if there are no transfers, take the previous owner. Else, if it's not null, then of course use the latest owner, right? So this would be latest owner per day. Yeah, I think that's it. latest owner per day. Okay, so yeah, let's verify if our query is right. So count distinct latest owner. This is too long. Group by ID. You know what? It's group by all. And I believe there is a holders tab on here somewhere. 5067. We're trying to get close to this number. If you find that this part is confusing, what I would suggest is you take just one token ID. So for example, here just say like 1 as token ID, and then sort of like run through each CTE, and you should be able to follow through like who is the owner for that particular token ID across all the dates. And yeah, that should clear this up. If there's any confusion. And we got 5067. Here says 506667. Here says 5066. Close enough because the transfer table is not real time, and so there might be another holder here within this past few transactions, right? All right, cool. So what did we get? Let's try to see the results of this query. It's gonna be very small because there's a lot of days since 2021. Yeah, you can see that the number of holders per day. And of course, you can shorten this. For example, here I am selecting all days, but I can of course filter by where day more than this year, right? That's possible as well. So my point here being, this is your base query, right? This is now your base query to be able to do all sorts of analysis. So let's see. Okay, so this is starting from 2021, and on 1st January this year, there were only 4,319 distinct owners, and in July there's 5,100. So about, you know, what's this, 800 plus new owners, or rather I should say distinct owners, and then that has sort of like maintained throughout the months, and there's a slight dip here with a slight increase as well. So my point here being, this is your base query to work with, right? You have now, if you follow through all this, you can now show daily holders of any 7 to 1 really, for any chain as long as the standard is similar to 7 to 1. And right now I just only have one NFT address. You can of course do this with multiple NFT addresses and compare the number of holders daily, right? Yeah. So this is the daily holders. Let me just comment this out and say like this is the daily holders number. You can of course do other analysis like new holders, right? Are there new holders holding? Are there new holders in the recent months? So how do we do that? So I'm going to reuse this CTE, right? So select from daily owners, latest owner per day, mint day, which is first day, and then group by all. Oops. And I need a CTE for this, so maybe what I should call this? New owners. And then select from new owners. First day, count 1. Oh god. As new owner count, right? And group by all. Oops, I'm forgetting where first day more than start of this year. Let's rerun that query. Alright, so let's see what we get, right? So essentially what I'm querying here is reusing everything, right? Everything is the same, just that the last query, instead of counting the number of holders daily, I can now count the number of new users since the start of the year. And so this query would now be new users, and you can see that big spike from 15, like sub 20 new users daily to 104 new wallets owning penguins, essentially. And this coincides with the Pengu token announcement, right? So clearly there's a interest, right, from new wallets being interested on the Pengu token. So that's how you quantify, right? So you'll be able to show, like, on a daily user or daily holders graph, what is the uptick in daily holders, if any. And then by showing the new owners graph, you can show, like, okay, this token announcement really has clearly shown, like, or is clearly effective in getting new users to purchase the collection. All right, cool. What else? Another thing you can do is like finding accumulation. So you can take a snapshot. So for example, a city here could be let's say 6th of, or like 5th of December, and then another city being today's date. And so you can then sort of like get the difference between the two dates and see like which wallet is accumulating, which wallet is selling, like, or like which wallet has accumulated or accumulated the most Pudgy Penguins in the past few days, right? Upon the announcement. So that's all the different things you can do. And let me just label this as new owners, right? So that's some examples of analysis, but really I think there's a lot more stuff you can do with this template query, or base query, as I would call it. And yeah, I'm planning on doing ERC20 next, and that would be somewhat the same as ERC1155, but it uses the same concept as ERC721. So I think that is it. I hope you enjoy this video and learn something. And yeah, let me know in the comments what else I should be looking at. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.